Hello, Kerry.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
evening. Thank you for joining.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate you yeah, carving some time out this evening and Happy New Year. Yeah, it's been
Yes. And to you.
thank you. It's been a lovely few months working with you, and I wanted to use this as an opportunity to just talk about your story, what we've been able to accomplish throughout our time working together, and in the hope that other people will see themselves in your story and maybe they reach out for support from me or maybe another coach. So, just going to ask you a few questions, and if it's okay with you, we'll just jump on in. That's all right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, what I would like you to do is to just start by telling myself and anyone else that's watching this, what was your life like before we started working with one another?
I would say that my life was quite insular and quite scared,
Hmm.
I think. Um, um, Especially I think as we went through um the program, I should say, um, sort of things came to light. So originally it was to improve my sort of health really and to lose weight, help with driving, for instance, because I've become increasingly scared of driving really
Yeah, he's very
and
anxious, wasn't
and would avoid it at all costs for driving. Yeah, so and even I would go the long way possible so I wouldn't have to go on certain like right turns, for instance, which was ridiculous to be honest.
he?
But and now it's a lot better now, so I don't worry so much. I would avoid actually driving completely and just put loads of excuses in. Oh no, no, you don't need to drive today, or get somebody else to do it. So now it's more a case of you just do it really, and through doing it gradually, like 15 minutes drive here and then getting used to it. I eventually drove all the way to the coast on my own. So and which was lovely.
Mm.
And it was quite scary at the time, but yeah, I did it. So it's just amazing what you think you can do because you don't feel, especially at the beginning, before I joined the program, I didn't feel I could do a lot of stuff. I didn't feel very capable. So I would say that's what it was like to start with. And to be honest, I would say I was pretty miserable a lot of the time and obsessed with my work. So talking about work. So I would say that's what it was like before.
Okay.
Um, my home life was very good, but like generally work and certain things were getting in the way of what I wanted to do. Yeah. So that's
Amazing.
what I would say it was like.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you being very transparent and honest. I'm curious to know as well is in terms of yourself, what was the catalyst for you to reach out to a coach? What was the turning point where you were like, you know what, I can't do this on my own. I'm going to get some support.
I think for me it was um, that I was able to afford it
Hmm.
because I hadn't previously been able to. But I would say to anybody, if you can afford it, do it, because it holds you to account um, with a coach, and you do um, have more support more regularly than you would if you went through a different avenue.
Yeah.
So that would the main bit was for me. I knew I wanted to do something, and I have been looking for a long time. And then I was able to afford it. So that's what was the catalyst really for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say that really.
No, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. It's an investment. It's, to work with a coach and invest in yourself, in your future. Of course, there's always a price involved, as with anything. And yeah, I think sometimes when we're in a situation where we can afford particular things, you know, and it's almost like, I don't want to say the universe sort of presenting itself, but it's a case of, okay, well, I've got the capabilities to do this. Why don't I give it a go? So I appreciate your honesty. And yeah,
Mm.
sometimes it is just a case of coming into maybe some financial money, or coming into a situation whereby, your savings permit it, etc. So what would you say then? Let me change the question. How would you say life has changed since working with me? What sort of have been the main things that you've been able to accomplish?
Oh, definitely. Well, driving, obviously. I've lost weight because I lost over, I'd probably say since Christmas, I put a little bit back on.
As we
Like,
all have, Kerry.
but
Don't worry about
I probably, yeah. So I'd say I probably lost over a stone, roughly,
that. Hmm.
through thinking about how I was eating and who was and why I was overeating, because like especially at home and at work there was sweet treats everywhere.
Hmm.
So, and I felt awful sort of saying no to anybody, and eventually I just did, and it was fine. And eventually people stopped asking so much, and they understood why I didn't want to do it, and then other people did sort of similar types of things as well, which is what I found when talking about the program and stuff. So yeah, so can you repeat the question? Sorry, I've
Of
gone off on
course.
a tangent and I
No, no, it's
can't.
fine. It's completely
My
fine.
memory hasn't got better.
So I just asked, in terms of your life, how has your life changed? And so what have been the main things you've been able to accomplish since working together?
I would feel is to have the courage to ask for help
Hmm.
more, um, because part of what I found with, well, because obviously people won't know, but like I did change my job, and I became increasingly scared to ask for help because
Hmm.
I'd been there so long and I should have known what to do. But as part, you should be able to ask for help for anything really, but
Yeah.
have the courage to do it and
Yeah.
not feel bad about doing it. But it is that courage to be able to ask for help. And I think also actually coming to you was that as well, was actually going ahead and going doing the one-to-one program, asking for help because I needed it.
Yeah.
Um, Probably wouldn't have done that before because previously I might have like um, I would do it for other people
Yeah.
if they needed it, then I would help them do it. If my husband needed the money to do it, I would let him do it. But for myself, it's very difficult to ask for help.
Hmm.
Um, and I just think I don't know whether it's that I'm a mum or whatever it is, but I don't like asking for help. I haven't done, but I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's knowing when to. So I would say that is a massive thing for me. And it's knowing that you deserve to ask for help.
Yeah.
Everyone should be, you know. And I think if you don't understand something, then you need that help. Then it's a two-way thing that the person who's showing you something hasn't explained it probably properly, and it's not all your responsibility to take that on. It's a two-way thing. So
Hmm.
I would say, yeah, for me, that is one of the biggest thing is to ask for help, really.
Okay.
Um,
Amazing. So you ask for help, you've learned to ask for help more. You've got a new job, which you just brushed past, which is a huge,
yeah,
huge thing. You got a new job. You also have been able to rid that sort of anxiety that you had and the fear around driving. And of course, you and I have worked together for a few months now, and you've been able to accomplish all of these things. So I'm curious to know,
Mm.
in order for you to accomplish these things, what would you say? Yeah, what part of the program would you say helped you the most?
I would have said that the one of the exercises we did, because once you know what your sort of cognitive distortions are, and you
Hmm.
do the reframe, I found that the most useful, and I used it almost daily in my old. In fact, it was more than that. It was sometimes 3 times a day, but I used it all the time because in my old job it was particularly, um, I would say, I don't like the word, but it was toxic.
Yeah.
So, and I used to find it would help me through the day to realize what actually was reality and what wasn't,
Hmm.
what was my responsibility and what was others. So I would say the reframe was one of the biggest, to be
Amazing.
fair.
No,
Yeah,
thank you
definitely.
for sharing that. So
Yeah.
that's part of the recognize phase of the program when we go through all of the self-sabotage and whatnot. So yeah, excellent. Love to hear that the cognitive restructuring really worked for you. So the only other question I have, Kerry, really is, I get a lot of clients that message me or jump on a call and they're very apprehensive. So given that you've been through the program now, what advice would you have for people who were perhaps on the fence of working with myself or maybe another coach?
I would say, oh, well, I would say definitely do it. If you can afford to do it and you're willing to spend that time on yourself, because I think that's part of it, because you could have the money and actually not bother doing it properly anyway
Yeah.
and not learn anything from it. So I think it is if you're willing to spend that time on it, and you probably have, if you were like me, you were bloody scrolling all the time, like thinking, oh, I could go with this coach, and you're doing it all the time,
Yeah.
like looking for a coach. But like we immediately clicked, I would say, when
Mm,
I spoke to you. And yeah, um, I would say definitely go for it. Because you've got nothing to lose.
mhm.
Um, and I'd have to say that I do less scrolling now on the internet, looking like I used to,
Yeah.
looking for answers because I don't need to. And um, so it sort of helps you in that respect.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely go for it because you've got nothing to lose and
Mm.
everything to gain. So I would, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Of course it does. You know me well enough now that, this is what I do it for, ultimately helping people with the problems that they're struggling to solve themselves. And hearing people like yourself who've come out the other side of the program full of positive words to say, it means a lot. So thank you. And I really like what you just mentioned as well. You mentioned that you can have the investment, you can pay the money, but that just gets you access to the program. Then it requires you to do some work because, it's not a case of you just spend the money and your problems are solved. It's investing the time, the effort, and the attention into doing the work. And I must say, and I really mean this, you were brilliant at that. I've said that to you before. You were brilliant at applying yourself, everything that
Yeah.
we
Thank you.
shared, you implemented all three parts of the program you really went over. I think you watched some of them twice as well of the course contents, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you were great at that. And that's exactly why you've got the results that you've got because you put the work in. So thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with you. And as always, if you need anything,
You.
I'm only ever a message away, Kerry. So thanks for your time this evening. And yeah,
Thank you.
all the best in 2024. Take care.
And you. All right. And you.